the noble kingdom of Goodlandia is at war with the evil necromancer Shazza Doombringer. The necromancer's legions have won every battle of the war so far. It is as if the necromancer knows every move the king will make, every tactic he will deploy. Surely there must be a traitor in the court of good King Eladon. Suspicion naturally falls on those closest to the king. His ugly and unpopular chief counsellor, Fastidius, his jealous older sister, Synthesia, passed over for the crown simply because she was a woman, his foreign queen and second wife, Ursula, maybe even the handsome Crown Prince Tazrian. The players suspect something else. They think that the king is possessed by an invisible demon that controls him and reports back to its lord, Shazza Doombringer. The players suspect this because in an earlier adventure near the beginning of the campaign, they discovered such a demon controlling a local baron. They exposed the demon, discovered its connection to the necromancer, freed the local baron, but the demon escaped. They know that King Eladon was nearby at the time, and they realise that this is the point in time when they started to hear rumours that the king was unwell, or was acting strangely. Before this point in time, the king had always been seen as wise and good, and also strong and healthy. After this point, prone to mood swings, prone to coughing fits, prone to strange spasms. The facts fit, but to expose the demon, the player characters must find proof. One of the player characters knows enough about demons to know that these possessing demons cannot bear to see a reflection of the creature that they have possessed. This was how they freed the Baron. But they failed to capture the demon then because they only had one mirror. So, the players come up with a particularly cunning plan to force the king into the royal palace's Hall of Mirrors, thus surrounding the king with mirrors and forcing the demon out in front of his court and in front of many other witnesses. It's a brilliant plan involving much careful preparation on the part of the players, and yes, they have come to the correct conclusion by deciphering some subtle and well-hidden clues stretching back to the beginning of the campaign. The king, yes, the king is indeed possessed by a demon working for the necromancer. The player characters get the king into the Hall of Mirrors by faking a fire in the palace and forcing an evacuation by a route which would take the king into the Hall of Mirrors. You, the GM, ask them to roll to see if they manage to get the king in exactly the right position to force the demon out. They roll badly. Well, that sucks. That's a perfect example of what I like to call roll to advance the plot. And it's perhaps the most annoying rules mechanic of role-playing games. And you see it so many times. The idea that the players can do something really clever, and in this case they've done something really clever, they've worked out a plan, they've come to the same conclusions based on some actual clues that they've spotted, and they still fail simply because of the roll of the dice. That's not fun. And shouldn't you be rewarding the players being clever? Shouldn't you be rewarding the fact that they got to the right conclusion by solving the clues? Shouldn't you be rewarding the players because they came up with a clever plan? And what you've done here by making them roll to advance the plot is you've made the game less fun for the players because you haven't rewarded those actions, and also more problematic for yourself as the GM because you're now stuck. How do you advance the plot now? How do you reveal the identity of the traitor? Difficult. So what should you do? The obvious answer here is to say they automatically succeed. If they've come up with a perfect solution and they've come up with a cunning plan, they should succeed. And that's not necessarily a bad answer. I think that's the second best answer. I think you can do slightly better, which is that they have to roll to succeed, but not roll to advance the plot. What do I mean by that? They've advanced the plot by exposing the demon. Make sure that that happens. They've exposed the demon, they get the king into the Hall of Mirrors, and the demon is exposed. What they should be rolling for now is how well the events proceed from that point on. So on a very good roll, the demon is completely surrounded by mirrors, and the plan goes completely perfectly, and the demon is completely trapped and held and can be interrogated and isn't a danger anymore. Perfect. A bad roll, the demon somehow escapes through a gap in the mirror, or past a player character, or it manages to briefly possess somebody else. The plot is advanced because we know now who the traitor was, but there's still other dangers. There's still other problems for the player characters to solve. We've advanced the plot, not necessarily in an entirely successful way as far as the player's plan was concerned, but we're still moving on with the plot. This is fun. And you as a GM should appreciate that we've advanced the plot. So, like I said, rolling dice to advance the plot is my number one hate in role-playing games. Try and avoid that whenever you can. Automatic success, that's not a bad idea. If the players have worked something out, don't force them to roll dice to confirm their suspicions. But you can maybe go a bit further by forcing them to roll dice to see if everything goes exactly as they hoped it would. Let me know in the comments what you think of that and whether you've tried that yourself.